if the Saints miss out on their draft needs, which is like offensive tackle, pass catcher, do the Saints dip back into the free agency market to get, a veteran such as Mekhi Becton, Andrews Pete on the offensive line, Hunter Renfrow or Tyler Boyd at receiver, defensive end, nose tackle, tight end, just somebody to help the team? Which one of those positions do you feel most comfortable about going get as a veteran in free agency?
It's interesting because I don't know that they can address their need at wide receiver with what's out there. Like, you can add a guy that helps, but I don't know that you can address the Mike Thomas type big possession yak receiver. Mike wasn't great yak, but they need that yak player. Mm-hmm. I don't think that you're getting the defensive end. There probably is a nose tackle out there that can help. I don't think you can get the two-way tight end out there. Oddly enough, I kind of feel like there's a couple options on the offensive line that could be fine. Like, not problem solvers, but fine. Yeah. And I think there are
fine is what's out there at almost every position.
Like, you just know, you just kind of know. Maybe it's because we know one. Pete. We know one, and it's just like, that guy could play, and he could probably play to a level to where you aren't necessarily noticing the void every single time they take the field.
Yeah, I mean, the main reason I want the Saints to draft an offensive tackle is because I like what they have to choose from at offensive tackle. If the board looked different, if there was like one offensive tackle and you had to squint to see it, then I'd be like, just go get the best player available and bring back Andrews Pete and see what Mekhi Becton's got. I would probably be advocating for that. They might have already done that if they didn't like what this draft class had to offer. So I agree with you. There seems to be some options there. I'm kind of the opposite on wide receiver, though. Like, their wide receiving core is so hard to peg because it's, in one sense, the position I feel best about on the Saints roster right now, certainly long-term. Chris Olave feels like a bona fide number one receiver, depending on what your definition of that means. Rashid Shaheed is a borderline number two receiver. A.T. Perry, young talent you're excited about. I even think Cedric Wilson belongs in a group of four. Like, I don't feel like a desperation to add an alpha to that group. I will take an Andrews Pete level receiver to fill out that group. But they have such a big need for the physical possession guy, and they kind of don't really have the slot receiver, Willie Snead, Lance Moore. Like, I mean, maybe a Tyler Boyd, maybe a Hunter Renfrow could fill one of those roles. I agree with you. Nose tackle, I think you can find. Defensive end, I probably wouldn't even bother. Like, I don't know that you're going to find anyone who's better. They have a lot of candidates. They have Isaiah Foskey and Peyton Turner and Carl Granderson and Cam Jordan and Tano Passanio. Just added Chase Young. I don't know that you just need a seventh guy. You need a guy who's better than all those guys, but I wouldn't even probably dip into free agency for that. I'm just very curious, how much money do they plan to spend? Does it have to be a league minimum guy, or will they actually go out and pay someone like $4 million a year, or is that something they're just not doing this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think my thing with like the wide receivers, I think they have a ton of talent right now, but if you're asking me to close my eyes and envision somebody making a catch on the backside of the formation, I don't see it. Like, I don't know who that guy is right now. That I would at least feel comfortable, almost closing my eyes and throwing to him because he's going to be open. And I just don't think that they have it. So, yeah, I mean, I think they kind of got to go out and get someone. But the reason that we're saying that is, instead of just go out and get Andrews Pete and then draft your receiver at 14, is because we're talking about them building a team. Like, it's not plugging gaps right now. You need those guys. We want them to build a team. And the value of that position, I think, is just so much higher, and the need for long-term answers at that position is so much higher because you have to, at least at wide receiver, and you can plug that gap another way. So you can get the Andrews Pete level player at wide receiver, probably, maybe even in the draft, and you go for the high-end guy for a tackle at 14.
The one position we haven't mentioned is safety. Maybe they need another guy. I don't know if they do, but what's so funny, we're talking about the Andrews Pete level guy. Some team that misses on safety in the draft is probably going to sign Marcus May to a veteran minimum deal. I mean, because there's so many talented safeties still out there. Jamal Adams, Justin Simmons, Eddie Jackson, Quandre Diggs, Micah Hyde, some injury issues in there. But by the time you get to Marcus May, he's not getting paid at this point. So that position is just taking a beating this year. I feel like if you feel like you're a body down at safety, that's probably the cheapest place to go get one right now.